Hello, my name is Kara. This is the first video in a three-part series that is teaching sensitivity training, which is where I help you understand some of the knowledge that I've learned while researching more about deaf culture that I didn't know before. Therefore, you'll dispel any ignorance that you had and hopefully be a more respectful and better person because of it. The first topic that we're talking about today is what really is ASL and the difference between some other forms of signing gestural communication that you might not have heard of. So, to start off with, ASL or American Sign Language is defined as visual gestural language used by 500,000 people in Northern America. However, this number is estimated to be a little outdated. It's estimated to be about 2 million people who know ASL now, and about 500 million of those people use ASL as their primary means of communication and as on their on a daily basis. So, ASL is a complete language that is very different from English. It has its own set of grammar, its own vocabulary, its own mannerisms that is very different to English and should not be considered part of English. I'd also like to note that there are other forms of visual gestural languages like British Sign Language. ASL is not a universal, all-encompassing language for deaf people. The next type of communication that you might get confused with for ASL that is not ASL is called SEE. This stands for Signing Exact English. The definition of this is a specific signing system that uses the word endings and patterns as English. This, unlike ASL, is signing exactly the same grammar as English. So you might be using the correct signs, but the grammar is very messed up. Because of this, it might even be considered offensive and rude, and you should never use SEE or signing exact English. You should always have at least an attempt to use grammatically correct ASL. The last type of a visual gestural communication method that you will be learning about today is PSE, or Pigeon Sign English. It also goes by another name, which is contact signing. This is the middle ground between ASL and SEE, which is where you try to use the correct grammar, but there might be a few mistakes along the way. This is not considered rude because there is an attempt towards ASL, and as a learner, this is what category you might fall into until you start becoming more fluent in ASL. It is also important to know the history of ASL. I'd like to note that ASL was already being in use before this story takes place, but it is more of an official background for it. So it started when a man named Thomas Hopkins Gallaudet was friends with a young girl named Alice, who was deaf, and he taught her a few signs. Then more people asked him if he'd be willing to open a school, and he went to Paris in order to learn some teaching techniques. A lot of people were at first unwilling to share their techniques and how they teach people, but eventually a man did, and then Gallaudet went back to America and he tried to teach ASL and he opened a school. Here, the signs that had been used in the past and the signs that he taught, they combined and formed ASL. Anyways, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed and learned some interesting information that you will know and use in the future. I hope that you share this information and make it as productive to your benefit as possible. Thank you so much and make sure to check out the next video. Bye!